The first Buick Skylark was unveiled as a luxurious limited edition convertible, part of the 1953 Roadmaster series. In the years since its introduction, Skylark has established a firm following with a large segment of Buick customers. For 1992, the popular Skylark has been completely redesigned. 4 models, Skylark Coupe and Sedan and Grand Sport Coupe and Sedan, are distinguished by their bold new Aero-style design. The new body is a full 9 inches longer, an inch taller, and 2 inches wider. The striking new front-end styling features a new upright, angular grille and wraparound tungsten halogen headlamps with side marker lights. The sleek lines of the new body panels are further enhanced by the flush-fitting glass and recessed door handles. The wraparound styling of the headlamps is echoed by the rear-end treatment. The deck lid extends down to the level of the rear bumper so that when opened, it provides a low liftover for easy trunk loading. Split folding rear seat backs with inertia-operated locks are standard. One or both seat backs can be folded to provide additional cargo space. The interior is all new with major controls angled toward the driver for convenient operation. The instrument panel display features a full complement of analog gauges with easy-to-read white-on-black figures. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning controls feature new rotary switches for easy operation. 2 new-style multi-function levers are mounted on the steering column. The left side lever incorporates the headlamp control and optional cruise control switches. The right lever is used to operate the standard 2-speed variable delay wipers and the windshield washer. Automatic power door locks are standard. Doors lock automatically once per ignition cycle when the transaxle is shifted out of park or neutral. A point to remember is that on Skylark and on 1992 Century, the doors remain locked when the transaxle is shifted from drive to park and must be manually unlocked. The standard power plant for the 1992 Skylark Coupe and Sedan models is a new 4-cylinder engine, the 2.3-liter quad overhead cam. The new engine is basically a single overhead cam 8-valve version of the successful Quad 4 double overhead cam engine and shares many of the same components. The Quad OHC has multi-port fuel injection, and the same integrated direct ignition system as used on the Quad 4 eliminates spark plug wires and any need for timing adjustments. The Quad OHC uses a cast gray iron cylinder block with a cast aluminum cylinder head. It features a highly tuned cast aluminum intake manifold. The cast iron exhaust manifold is also tuned for reduced noise. The engine has a compression ratio of 9.5 to 1 and produces 120 horsepower at 5,200 RPM. Torque peak is 140 foot-pounds at 3,200 RPM. Buick's powerful 3300 engine is standard on Skylark Grand Sport models and optional on the Coupe and Sedan. An adjustable ride control suspension system is standard on 1992 Skylark Grand Sport and available as an option on Coupe and Sedan models. This advanced system allows the driver to select one of 3 mode settings to match the firmness of the Skylark's ride to road and driving conditions. The soft mode provides a cushioned, smooth ride, suitable for driving on rough roads or for long highway trips. The sport setting provides a firm, responsive ride for enhanced handling and cornering ability. In the auto mode, the system automatically shifts to sport, soft, or normal Dynaride modes according to vehicle speed. The control module that operates the adjustable ride system is located on the sound insulator panel below the right side of the IP. The control module varies suspension feel by mechanically adjusting the dampening rate of the Skylark suspension struts. Inside each strut is an actuator motor. When energized by the control module, The actuator motor rotates a selector valve with different sized orifices. When the actuator motor rotates the selector valve to specific positions, the different orifices increase or decrease fluid flow through the valve and provide normal dyno ride, soft, or firm sports suspension dampening modes. In addition to the command signals from the driver select switches, the control module receives a vehicle speed signal from the engine control module. The control module also receives a signal from an accelerometer. The accelerometer is a motion-detecting mercury switch located under the carpet below the passenger seat. The switch is activated by excessive lift, dive, and rolled movements of the car. When the system is operating in the soft or auto modes, a signal from the accelerometer causes the control module to override the select switch and command the firm sport mode to help stabilize the car until no signal is received from the accelerometer for 2 seconds. The adjustable ride control module uses feedback signals from the driver select switches, strut actuators, vehicle speed sensors, and the accelerometer to monitor system operation. If it detects an incorrect feedback signal, the control module sets an error code and illuminates the 3 light-emitting diodes on the select switch display. The ARCS diagnostic enable circuit can be activated at the ALDL connector by grounding pin C. When the ARCS diagnostic enable circuit is grounded for 3 seconds, the LEDs blink off to display a code 12, followed by any current and stored error codes. All 1992 Skylarks are equipped with the Delco ABS-6 non-integral anti-lock brake system, introduced on 1991 Skylark. And for the first time, ABS-6 is standard equipment on 1992 Regal Limited and Grand Sport models and available on Regal Custom. LeSabre, the U.S. quality leader and Buick's best-selling large sedan, has earned the highest owner loyalty of all Buick models. For 1992, a great value becomes even better. The LeSabre Custom and Limited sedans are completely restyled inside and out. More than 400 wind tunnel tests were conducted in the course of perfecting this sleek new body design. The resulting blend of fluid body lines and flush-fitting glass is both attractive and functional. It gives the car a graceful, athletic look, while effectively minimizing wind noise and reducing the large sedan's coefficient of drag to a low 0.32. The large wraparound tail lamps are fully illuminated, and the deck lid extends down to bumper level to provide a low liftover for easy access to the roomy trunk. The 1992 LeSabre interior features a new instrument panel, similar to that on the 1991 Park Avenue. A driver's supplemental inflatable restraint system is standard. Air conditioning is standard on LeSabre Custom and Limited, with dual automatic comfort temp climate control available on Limited only. The separate temperature control for the front passenger is located on the door. For 1992, the Comfort Temp option provides adjustable air vents on the armrest, which allow rear passengers to direct or shut off the flow of warm or cold air from the climate control system. LeSabre's new aerodynamic lines are used to full advantage by the same powerful and silky smooth drivetrain that so impressed automotive journalists when they first drove the 1991 Park Avenue. The 170 horsepower produced by the tuned port injection 3800 engine gives the 92 LeSabre a 5 horsepower increase over the 91 model, and torque output is boosted almost 5% to 220 pound-feet at 3,200 RPM. Engine torque is delivered to the front wheels through the 4T60E electronically controlled 4-speed transaxle. Tevis Mark IV anti-lock brakes are standard on limited and optional on custom models. A new traction control system is available on 1992 Park Avenue and will be optional on mid-year LeSabre models. The system is designed to reduce wheel slip at speeds under 25 miles per hour by applying the front brakes when it detects either of the drive wheels is beginning to lose traction. For traction control, the Tevis pressure modulator valve is modified internally to include 2 isolation valves and a pressure switch that opens when brake fluid pressure in the modulator valve exceeds 101 psi. Other additional components for traction control are a transaxle temperature switch mounted in the transaxle and a traction off indicator lamp in the instrument panel. The ABS electronic brake control module, or EBCM, detects wheel slip by comparing the signals from the front wheel speed sensors to check if the turning speed at one wheel is higher than the other. The EBCM enters the traction mode when either of the drive wheels begins to lose traction, vehicle speed is under 25 miles per hour, and the brakes are not manually applied. Once in the traction mode, the EBCM energizes the isolation valves in the pressure modulator valve to isolate the front brake circuits from the brake system. To produce brake pressure for traction control, the EBCM turns on the pressure modulator valve pump motor and applies the front brakes by cycling the pressure modulator inlet and outlet valves. If the driver manually applies the brakes while the traction control system is operating, the EBCM senses the pressure switch input and the brake switch input signals and disables traction control to allow manual braking. Also, if the 4T60E transaxle temperature exceeds 320 degrees Fahrenheit, the switch opens, signaling the EBCM to disable traction to prevent the transaxle from becoming overheated by the additional brake load. Also, the EBCM illuminates the traction off indicator in the instrument panel. Once transaxle temperature drops below 300 degrees Fahrenheit, the switch closes, but traction control remains disabled for an additional 3 to 5 minutes to allow for sufficient cooling. As with ABS, the EBCM monitors the traction control circuits for correct operation and sets diagnostic trouble codes which can be read using a T100 or Tech1 scan tool. If a fault is detected in the ABS circuits, both the anti-lock and traction off indicators are illuminated. Standard equipment on 1992 Park Avenue and Ultra includes a new 2-flow electronic variable effort steering system. The system is controlled through the multifunction Chime module, which is mounted on a bracket below the left side of the instrument panel, above the brake pedal. The Chime module controls a 2-flow solenoid, located in the power steering pump pressure line. The Chime module energizes the solenoid when vehicle speed is increasing up to 20 miles per hour, or speed is decreasing and is less than 17 miles per hour. Solenoid activation times out 3 minutes after the car has stopped. When energized, the 2-flow solenoid allows a higher volume of flow from the steering pump to provide increased power steering assistance for slow-speed maneuvering. Buick's expertise in extracting maximum performance from its powerful V6 engines is reflected in the 1992 Park Avenue Ultra. The 92 Ultra comes equipped with a powerful, supercharged version of the Buick 3800 engine. The supercharger is a blower system that boosts the volume of air entering the intake manifold. The pressure of the boosted air increases as it accumulates in the intake plenum, and a denser air charge enters the combustion chamber. The denser intake charge produces greater engine power output and enables the engine to provide the performance of a V8 while retaining the improved emission control, fuel economy, size and weight benefits of Buick's proven 3800 V6. Unlike a turbocharger, which uses exhaust gases to turn a turbine, the supercharger blower is driven by a modified engine accessory belt system, so supercharger boost is available at all engine speeds. The blower is a 62 cubic inch Roots type with two 3-lobe rotors. The rotors have a 60-degree helical twist that balances inlet and outlet pressures for quiet operation. The intake manifold is a non-tuned open plenum design with a large intake passage for boosted air from the supercharger and a smaller bypass opening. When boost is not required, intake air is diverted through a bypass valve. Bypass valve position is controlled by a vacuum-operated bypass actuator. There are two ports on the actuator, one on each side of a spring-loaded diaphragm, which is connected to the bypass valve. The top port of the bypass actuator is connected to a vacuum block on the intake side of the supercharger. The bottom port of the bypass actuator is connected to a boost solenoid, which is controlled by the powertrain control module. When the engine is running at idle, inlet vacuum from the throttle body intake is sufficient to overcome bypass actuator spring tension and pull the diaphragm up. When the diaphragm lifts, the bypass valve directs airflow into the bypass passage and limits boost. When the throttle is opened, inlet vacuum to the top actuator port drops off, and the actuator's spring pushes the diaphragm down. The full flow of supercharged air enters the intake manifold to give immediate boost during acceleration. Most of the time the engine is running, including idle, the PCM provides a ground for the boost solenoid to hold it in the closed position. During acceleration, the PCM commands the boost solenoid to remain closed until the transmission shifts. As the transmission shifts, the PCM opens the ground to the boost solenoid. Supercharger outlet pressure enters the bypass actuator and pushes the diaphragm upward, opening the bypass valve. The boost solenoid is opened in this way for just 0.3 of a second to limit boost and protect the transaxle against excessive torque during the shift operation. Modifications to the 3800 include new pistons with longer skirts than those used on the normally aspirated engine. Also, the piston tops are anodized with a protective coating that extends through the first ring groove. The first and second ring grooves are spaced slightly further apart for greater strength and improved ring sealing. Full floating piston pins are also used for their ability to withstand greater force. A full list of these and other mechanical modifications can be found in the Know-how manual. To guard against detonation, the supercharged engine uses a modified digital EGR system that looks the same as the unit used on the 3800 in the 91 LeSabre. However, the EGR valve uses stronger spring tension to accommodate supercharger boost pressures. Also, only the large and medium EGR ports are used. An oil separator is added to the PCV valve to minimize the possibility of detonation caused by ingestion of oil into the combustion chambers. The supercharged 3800 engine is designed to operate on premium-grade fuel only. The use of fuel with an octane rating of less than 89 results in a loss of engine performance. The 1992 models clearly reflect Buick's continued commitment to producing cars which carefully blend the very latest developments in automotive technology with the traditional values of quality, comfort, and convenience. Values which distinguish Buick as the source of premium American motor cars.